Hello, I'm Sarah Weiss with Go Yoga for Kids, and thank you for being here. We are right in the middle of talking about our Kids Yoga Lesson Planning 101 video series. So if you are just joining us, no worries, you are right where you should be. Head over to gogoyogakids.com/lessonplanning101. There you'll be able to download a nice little cheat sheet that will get you all caught up on everything. So again, gogoyogakids.com/lessonplanning101. What we are doing with this video series is so exciting. It is teaching you how to plan and carry out your kids yoga class. Now, kids yoga is different than adult yoga, and by following our little framework here, the Go Yoga for Kids framework, you will have kids that are energized, loving it, remembering what they learned in yoga class, practicing it outside of class, and having them excited to come back again. So with our framework, there are 9 components. Now that may seem like a lot, but as I mentioned, kids yoga is different than adult yoga. Kids' attention spans is different, their energy level is different, all of that plays in. So each of these 9 components that we're talking about in our video series, they only last a couple minutes each. So do not worry, it is just fine. We walk you through it, I promise. So in part 1, we talked about the welcome and how to welcome your kids into your class, discuss the theme, get them excited about being there. And the next part is our breathing exercises, where we make breath work exciting and fun. We use props. We help them realize the importance of that, taking that deep breath and the calming and the relaxation that occurs. In part 3, we cover our sun salutations, which are tons of fun with kids. They are different than the sun salutations you're thinking of with an adult flow. So definitely check out the sun salutations video that we did. Part 4 of a kids yoga class is the active movement. Now, active movement is a very important part of a kids yoga class because it gets their heart pumping, it gets the wiggles out, and it gets them ready for their themed yoga poses, which we just talked about in our last video. Be sure to check out that video. It talks about how to select your yoga poses for the class, how to teach them, and how to get them engaged with it. All right, now you're all caught up to speed. So we are going to talk about yoga games. Now, yoga games are probably one of the most favorite parts of a kids yoga class, next to Shavasana, which they really like a lot. But yoga games give the kids a chance to practice those poses that they have learned, and they really just, it is active movement, it gets the wiggles out again, but again, they are doing those yoga poses that they learned. Yoga poses also build strength, it helps them follow directions, work together, and they're practicing those yoga poses in fun and engaging ways. So I also love how games help break the ice with kids. Now, a lot of times in my kids yoga classes, it is a group of new students. We have gone through the welcome, everyone's introduced themselves, and they've talked a little bit about what they like to do, but yoga games really just solidifies your class because they are together as one. So it's just tons of fun to see how it works, how they work together to achieve a goal. So coming up with and planning yoga games is actually one of my favorite things. I have written about it in our kids yoga book. So we have Go Yoga for Kids, a complete guide to yoga with kids, and in here I have hundreds of games that you can play with your students, and also the follow-up book, Go Yoga for Kids, Yoga Lessons for Children. These are both found on Amazon. This is also for your early childhood, and has a lot of yoga games and a lot of books that you can use with kids to get them moving in the activeness. So with yoga games, they're a lot of fun because you can play from a large repertoire of games. So in these books, they kind of talk about having large groups or small groups, maybe individual games you can play outside, games you play inside. It really breaks it out. So I kind of think about the group that I'm going to have, and I think about what yoga game would be relevant with that. So these yoga games, I have used them in my yoga classes, of course. I've also used them in schools. I've used them at camps. I've used them at home with my kids. These yoga games carry out all over. I also based some of the yoga games off favorite childhood games. As you may find from here, you may recognize some familiar ones like Yogi Says instead of Simon Says, musical mats instead of musical chairs, and you kind of get the drift. But others are completely based from yoga poses. So I do, like during my yoga games, I always use the Kids Yoga Challenge postcards. And these are our pose cards. They can be found on Amazon.com and Amazon UK. And there are 40 poses in here. So as I talked about in our last video on how you teach the kids yoga poses and the themed poses and how you only use 4 to 6, I would take those poses, and let's just grab some here. Let's pretend that we're working on eagle pose. And then I would lay those poses out, and during the game they're making those poses. I do definitely want to tell you absolutely to not spend longer than 10 minutes on each yoga game. Kids get very excited about the yoga games. They can't wait to play them. And you always want to end the game on a high note for sure. Sometimes they'll say again and again, especially with musical mats, where you lay the yoga mats in a circle. You're putting your yoga poses in front of the mats. The kids are marching around the mats. When the music stops, they need to make the pose that's in front of their mat. They love it. They love it. They could play it forever. But you will notice a decrease of attention and energy. So I always end it on a high note. We play for 7 to 10 minutes, and then when it's done, that'll leave them wanting more. So definitely check out our yoga games. Also on our website, gogoyogakids.com. Yoga games, you'll find a lot. So the yoga games are a great way to get the kids excited about it. They're gaining strength, they're improving balance, they're experiencing teamwork, and they're having a ton of fun. You can change this up every time with your kids' yoga classes, and they will love it, and they will love practicing their poses. So that covers yoga games. Now stay with us, because our next video is about kind of bringing the energy level back down, getting the kids kind of more mindful, preparing for that Shavasana, but not quite yet, because there's a little bit more fun to be had in your kids' yoga classes before that last part of Shavasana. We'll take you right through it. So we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.